you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Hello, come join me in the studio today for a little Paint With Me Q&A combo. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Katie and I'm a full-time illustrator for exactly 1 year now. I cannot believe it, truly, so thank you for being here for the journey. And if you're in the art community, you may be in the midst of Arttober, Inktober, Peachtober, or whatever prompt list you're following. I'm personally doing Peachtober this year, like I've been doing the past couple years. And yeah, October, how are we feeling? Are you okay? Is everything all right? I made it exactly 5 days into the month before I stopped painting, but in my defense, I traveled for 2 weeks from October 1st to 14th, so I was really doomed from the start, even though I tried so hard to prepare before I left. And you could see I started off strong here. We're gonna paint this. This is for the first day of Peachtober, and the prompt of the day was bee, as in the insect, not the letter, but you already saw when I'm drawing, so obviously you probably figured that out already. And yeah, you'll be able to see what I've been up to the past few weeks over on my Instagram. I was in Bend, Oregon for a thing called Creator Camp, and then Los Angeles, California for Adobe Max. I met so many very cool, inspiring artists and creators, and I came back feeling refreshed, so we'll see how the rest of October goes. Today is just a peek, but in November, you will see how the rest of the challenge went for me, because we're talking about the future here, so things can change. Okay, so how did I start? We kind of just dived right into painting. I started off with some sketches, and then I transferred that over to my watercolor paper using a light box. And I'm just gonna go ahead and lay out all my frequently asked supply questions info out right now, so you don't need to comment. I'm using 300 GSM 100% cotton watercolor paper from Fabriano. That was a mouthful. And I sketch with a red colored pencil because I like how it peeks through a bit and how it blends with the paint colors I use. Today I'm using Holbein's acrylic gouache. Love this stuff. I'm also using Prismacolor and Derwent colored pencils, and this is a Princeton size 8 round brush. It is my favorite. I love a size 8. The point is very sharp, but then also it just covers a lot of ground. It's a very versatile brush. And yeah, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for artists and small businesses. They make it easy to create a beautiful website, portfolio, storefront, and more. Whatever you can think of, basically. Squarespace has developed hundreds of beautifully designed templates for every use case. Are you an artist looking to showcase your work? They have a template for that. Are you looking to sell your homemade goods online? There's also a template for that. And you can customize each template to fit your brand in seconds. You can sell physical, digital, or service products online, or you could connect a Square reader right to your store and begin selling in person, so you could keep everything in one place. This is what I do for any in-person art markets I have. So if you like what you're hearing and you'd like to create your own website, head to squarespace.com/KatieMai or click the link in my description to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, let's get into some of the questions you guys asked me on Instagram. And if you ever want to be part of the question asking fun, I usually will do a little shout out on my story. So make sure you go follow me over there. And the first one is a big question. How are you? Thank you for asking. I'm feeling really good. I've been dealing with a breakup the past month, so I wasn't feeling very good. And that took some time to process, but I'm really grateful I was able to travel during that time and make really cool new friends who have similar careers as me. I think you're just put in a spot where everyone is very similar and it's very relatable, and you kind of just make friends instantly because of your situation. It really helped not to only fill my creative cup, but to mend my heart a little bit. So I'm internally grateful that I was able to have these experiences at that time. And let's go into another big question. How do you deal with burnout? I think a lot of us are probably feeling burnt out because, like I said, it's Art Challenge month. My first instinct is to lecture you and say that you shouldn't let yourself get to that point. Take adequate breaks and realize your limits. But as I'm saying this right now, that is just not reality, especially these days when a lot of us need to work extra hard to survive. Sometimes taking a break is just not possible. So when I am feeling burnt out, I like to channel my other interests. I enjoy reading, going outdoors, doing yoga, hanging out with my friends, just finding an extra hour to do these things that I love really helps me to get inspired. Watching others create art helps me a lot too. Maybe even watching this video will help someone with burnout, and I hope it does. I hope it gives you a little bit of inspiration today. How do you engage with other fellow artists you discover on social media? This is such a good question. I am not afraid to comment or send a DM these days. At first, I was really nervous to do that because I didn't want to come off as weird, but truly it doesn't matter. And if someone thinks I'm weird, that's more of their problem and not mine, unless you are actually sending a weird message. If you're just reaching out to say hey, it is totally not a strange thing to do. And generally artists, or at least the ones I know, are the most kind, genuine, and welcoming people. A lot of my current friends are ones I met online years ago. It's funny being able to meet them in person after being mutuals. I just met Vicky, or Thanks XU, in LA. I hope that is how you pronounce it. We went to Oliver Jeffers' book signing together, and it basically went hey, you're in LA, I'm in LA at the same time, let's hang out. So it's basically as easy as that. Obviously, stranger danger, be safe, but yeah, if you've been mutuals for a while, I think it's okay. I tried to join your Patreon, but I can't. Is it not open? Yes, that it is not open. My Patreon is closed until next year. After having it open for about a year, I learned a ton, and there are so many changes I want to make. So Patreon 2.0 is hopefully coming next year, or something similar. It doesn't have to be on Patreon, but I'm still figuring out all of that stuff. So when it does open again, you guys will be the first one to hear. I didn't make a formal announcement. I made an announcement to my patrons, but I haven't made an announcement to the general public. So this is the formal announcement that my Patreon is closed for now. Okay, I'm gonna lump these next questions together. How did you balance your work life and personal life? Do you have specific work hours? What difference has working in your studio made? It took me 1 year freelance to figure out a schedule. The studio, or just having a separate workspace that's away from my personal space, has helped me so much. I keep a traditional 9 to 5 schedule, Monday through Friday, because most of my friends who don't work in creative fields have that. And when I do work with my manager or with a brand, that's typically the schedule that they follow as well. So it's just easier for me to stay like that. And it helps me have a routine. I've been toying with the idea of leaving my laptop at the studio and not touching anything work-related at home, but the what if I need it that day keeps me from doing that. But perhaps that's something I'll try. Video idea? Perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, my life is so much more balanced now versus when I was doing both this and full-time office work. I feel less stressed, still stressed, but there's definitely a difference. I feel less burnt out and generally happier to be able to actually spend time with people, with Miso, and with myself. It's been great. How much time did you dedicate to drawing a day when you still had your day job? Oof, I logged off from work immediately and would work on my art or art business or YouTube or whatever from 5 p.m. to midnight some nights. 7 days a week. I was grinding. I did not take a break. And don't tell my boss, but sometimes I did do stuff during work hours. Obviously, I completed my mandatory tasks beforehand, but yeah, I was not balancing it well at all. It might have looked like I was, but I wasn't. Drawing was probably only 20% of that time. The rest was spent doing other things like filming, editing, admin, etc. Basically everything else that goes into this strange job. Short answer is a couple hours at least a day. What made you pursue an art career? I'm gonna be honest, I can never see myself as anything else. I used to think I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I think I just wanted to tell stories and have what's in my head be translated exactly into something physical for others to see. And just painting and drawing was the medium for me. It didn't become an actual goal until I found my diary from when I was 5 that read, "I would be delighted to be an artist. And I had no idea I wrote that, but it just makes so much sense. It's who I am, who I've always been, and who am I to deny my 5-year-old self of her dream? How did you grow your art account? I posted consistently and engaged in the community, but mostly I tried my best to stay true to myself and to post things that I want to make. I try not to listen to what other people thought, just to myself, and I think that reflects in my art and my videos and everything else. How much planning do you need to film a video? It varies. Sometimes I'll plan months ahead and other times a day of. Sometimes it's scripted, sometimes it's not. It's kind of different for each video. I think I do need to be better at planning sometimes because a lot of the times I'm scramming to finish a video. But yeah, it's usually not planned. What's your opinion on painting ghosts? They're fun. You could play around with transparencies. There's so many things you could do with a ghost. You could draw them in so many different styles. I think it's very cool. I love that trend where people buy old paintings and add ghosts. I think it's so cute. I might want to do that. Honestly. What's your current color palette? I think I'm into a muted rainbow situation right now. I love my greens. I've been into a dark background recently. Usually I would like a light background, but I'm very into like a moody situation, I think. I think that's what I'm growing into. What do you feel while creating art? I feel very calm and at peace when I'm painting. I basically shut the world out, and it's definitely a form of meditation for me. And yeah, it looks like this is the end of this paint with me. I really, really love how this piece turned out. I think it came out exactly how I wanted. And it feels like the work I've been putting into illustrating is finally coming out in my recent pieces, which I am very proud of. I think when you're learning, you will have to make bad art, and eventually that will turn into good art. So I'm really happy that I stuck through it because I am making art that I am proud of. Trust the process, y'all. And thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to check out Squarespace below, and I'll see you next time.